Howdy, Beefalo Bart here, and welcome. Had some interest in some side-scroller stuff, and some of the Synty Studios stuff, and a few other things, so I figured, you know what the heck. Let's actually combine the two of them together. So, what I've done so far is I created a blank project called Cityside. I'm actually going to create this into a playable game, which I will make available as I get progress done on it. Essentially, you hit play, click, and this is what you have. Their basic side-scroller template is all I've done, and I have added the Synty Studios City pack. So with that, I've already added the Polygon City pack in here, the side-scroller template, and I'm going to set up a couple folders really quickly. First one being characters, and I'm going to create another folder called assets because I like to play with my assets. Well, likes a good asset every now and then. Let's go ahead and create another new folder. We're going to call this interface, because this is going to be all the menu stuff and so forth. We're going to create another one called maps. Now the first thing I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and create well, I could go ahead and skip right into making the main menu map, but what I want to do is I want to create the character first so that we can go ahead and integrate in the Polygon City characters, and we know that they're working. Then we're going to move into creating a main menu and that kind of stuff. So let's get into the meat of it and actually change out our UE4 mannequin into the character we want. So first thing I want to do is I want a new character. I don't want to use the one from the side scroller, but what I will do is I will grab it and I will left click on it, and let's actually create some folders inside the folders. And we're going to call it blueprints, and that's where we want to go for that one. But we also want another one for animations. Now the one thing I noticed about the side scroller template is it does use a third person character animation, which is pretty cool. It's going to make it easy for us to do this. And I'm going to go ahead and create another new folder called mesh. Now, what I'm going to do here first is I'm going to go ahead and look inside the blueprints folder, and I'm going to copy my blueprint over here. I'm going to left click, drag and drop, and copy here. And I'm going to rename this. Let's see, for our player character, do we want a unique name, and we're going to call this our what should we call this? Player. Let's actually get into the habit of doing the BP underscore player. For now, that's just going to be our thing, and we're going to go then into our Polygon City. And what I want to look into is in the mesh folder and characters. I'm going to grab the skeletal mesh, or the skeletal rig here, and I'm actually going to left click on it and drag it in here, and I'm going to drop it into the mesh folder and copy here. Now I'm going to go ahead and rename this into our poly underscore skeleton. I'm going to go into it just so I can check everything out. We know that it's a humanoid rig, but look, we have nothing here for our preview mesh. So that's the next thing we're going to fix, is that. We're going to go back into our characters folder inside here, and I'm going to left click and then control left click on all the skeletal meshes for the different characters in the Synty Studios pack. This is totally not necessary, but I like to do it anyway. I could just use this skeletal character rig and it would be fine, but I'm not gonna. I'm gonna make this my own game. So right click, and I'm going to go to skeleton and assign skeleton. I'm going to select on polygon skeleton and accept. I'm going to have to do this multiple times, once for each of the characters that are there. Like I said, this is totally an unnecessary step, but I like doing it anyway. In my game, I can do what I want. It's mine. I'll wash it as fast as I want to. Oh, I'm sorry. Unrelated topic there. So while I'm doing this, it's a good time to say, I need a frickin' coffee sponsor. I'm going to save all. Currently, I have a cup of Folgers that I brew with my Keurig. But damn it, I would love it if a company like, oh, I don't know, Black Rifle Coffee Company or somebody would actually sponsor me and throw me some coffee, and I'll throw them some assets and make it pretty. So now in our mesh folder, we got our skeleton. We've done all this right here. Now we need to go into our mannequin folder, go into our character, go into our mesh folder here, and we need to open up the UE4 mannequin skeleton. And to get to replace our mannequin with our characters from Synty Studios, do something really quickly here. I'm going to get a few more users in here to come watch. Alright, so first thing we need to do is we need to select our rig and select humanoid rig. Now, the next thing we need to do is modify a pose, but we need to modify the actual pose here. I want to left click on the upper arm. Anywhere along here should be fine. And I'll show you here, just kind of scroll in. Click somewhere right around the bicep, and then what we want to do is we want to rotate the arm up 50. Do the same thing for the other side, rotate it up 50. Now, on the forearms or the lower arms, click on them and we want to rotate those back 20. You should do it by 30, but 20 seems to look pretty good overall. The same thing with the other one, lower arm, rotate it back 20. So now you have a T-pose, and we want to modify pose and use current, and now save. And we can close that. Now, let's go ahead and hit save all one more time. Get in the habit of doing save all, and to force yourself into getting into that habit, you can go into editor preferences, edit, and then editor preference. Type up here auto save and disable it. Get rid of that nasty auto save and get your butt in the habit of clicking that save all button. So now if I go back into my mesh folder, double click on my poly skeleton, we now have a character in here, and I can click on apply to asset, and now we actually have a character assigned to that skeleton. I'm going to hit save and close, and now we need to retarget the animations. Really simple. All I have to do now is left click to select my third person animation blueprint from a mannequin folder. I'm going to right click, and I'm going to retarget animation blueprints, duplicate animation blueprints, and retarget. Select my poly skeleton. Now I want to replace. In this box right here for replace, we want to get rid of the third person underscore. You don't have to use the underscore. I'm just weird. And I'm going to replace this with poly underscore. So now it'll make it as the poly animation blueprint. And I want to change the folder. So I'm going to click right here, change. And I want to select the characters folder that I created and the animations folder I created. Click OK, and then retarget. That will then automatically move you up in here to your characters folder, animations. Everything is lovely. We can save all again. And now if we go into our character blueprint for our BP underscore player, double click to go into here and go to our viewport. Now we look, we've got a UE4 mannequin. Let's select mesh, go to our skeletal mesh, and for now we can select any of these polygon skeletons, like businessman shirt. Okay, he snaps to a T-pose, so we come over here to animation class, and I are going to change it over to poly animation blueprint, compile, and save. So now, as we're in this side scroller template map, if we look at our game mode override, and all this is set to none. So let's go ahead and manually select this to side scroller game mode, and default pawn, I'm going to change over to my BP underscore player. And then I'm going to save all one more time. Now when I hit play, we still have this guy in here because he's still in the map. So what we're going to have to do is delete this guy, drag this guy in here. Now as you can see, he's facing the wrong way, so we need to rotate him around. Rotate him 90 degrees. Now if we hit play, we're going to have two of them in here. So let's see if we can actually delete this guy here and hit play. There we go. Now we can actually use our polygon character. I have an issue with my mouse cursor, and also he's not really centered up on here. So we have our network player start. Let's actually rotate that around. We're going to use that. We'll rotate it 90 degrees. And I want to move him over just a little bit, so he's more in line with the actual obstacles. Just kind of eyeballing it right there. So now if I hit play, he's facing the correct direction, but I still have my mouse cursor. We'll fix that in just a moment. But now we're using our polygon character inside of our third person side scroller, or our side scroller template. There we go. That. We can jump, we can hit the up button, or we can hit the space bar to jump. It's just that easy to add those characters in. So now the next thing we want to do is, I don't want this map, but let's go ahead and create the main menu. So again, we want to make sure we save all, everything is good, and I'm going to go ahead and create a new map. So a new level, empty level. For right now, I'm going to keep this menu simple and to the point, and it's just going to get us directly into our game. I'll start adding frill a little bit later. We just want to get some functionality into our game first. So with that, we want to go ahead and save current, go to our maps folder, and we're going to call this our main menu map. Hit enter, and now we're all good to go. We have a main menu map. On this, we don't need any game mode overrides or anything right now. We could set up our own game modes and all that kind of stuff, and our HUDs and whatnot. Let's hold off on that for just a minute, and we'll start off with this. And we need an interface, so let's create an interface. An interface folder, right click, user interface even, a widget blueprint, and we're going to call this our main menu HUD. Probably a poor choice of names, but we're going to do it this way anyway. And we're going to open this up, and the first thing I want to do is put a background in here. So I'm going to grab an image and anchor it to the center, and then I'm going to take my offsets and zero those out. Now at some point I'll actually replace this with an actual image, but for now we're just going to go ahead and just let this be not hideously white. So I'm going to click right here. I'm going to go ahead and scroll down, get black. This is pure black. Now that I've created a pure black color, I'm going to left click on it here and drag this up here, and now it's saved. Anytime I want this black color, now all I got to do is click there. So I click OK. So now we have a black background. We just need to go ahead and set up a couple buttons really quickly so we can play the game and exit the game. Later on we'll do a character selection and things like that, so you can pick which character you're using in your game. But for now, like I said, let's go ahead and keep it simple, stupid, and let's go ahead and put in a panel. Let's put in a vertical box, drag that in here, and whatever, that's good for now. Anchor it to the center, and then let's go ahead and grab a button. You can drag this right here to the vertical box, and now I want to put some text on it right there, and we want this to be our play button. So I'm going to rename it to play button. Now I clicked up here in the upper right to change it in the details panel, but you could also just the same click here, hit the F2 key, and it'll let you type it in right there. So there's a couple different ways you can actually do that. We're going to click on our text block inside there, and let's change this over to play game. So now it's just going to say play game. We have this big ugly hideous button, and you click on it. We're going to make it function to where it actually loads the first level. But I want to go ahead and add a couple things in here. I want to go ahead and add in a primitive. Circuit or throbber? That just kind of sounds pornographic, but we just are in a throbber. Let's grab us a spacer and drop it on top of the vertical box. And then I'm going to take this spacer and I'm going to change the Y to 50. So it's going to give us a big old fat chunky space, or let's actually make it 40 because our button's probably going to default to 40 high if I'm not mistaken. So now we have a button, an equal sized empty space. I'm going to right click on the play button and copy, and then left click on the vertical box and paste. And now let's go ahead and hit F2, and we're going to call this our exit button, and we're going to open it up and change it from play game to exit game. So now we have two basic functions we can do from our main menu. It is a terrible main menu. There is just nothing here yet. But whatever, it's just going to get us started. And for very simple functionality, I'm going to hit compile, save, click on my graph, grab everything here, hit delete, make sure I'm scrolled in all the way, and the first thing I want to do is I want to not click anywhere right there. I want to click on my play button and click on clicked, click on exit button, and hi Kavini, how are you? Unclicked. So now we got our buttons in here, and on our exit button, this is really complicated. Oh god, it's like quit game. Really complicated to do there. And that's all you do. You hit on the exit game button and it quits the game. So on the play button, what we want to do is from here we want to open level. We don't have a level to go to just yet. But for now, we can actually come over here, and I want to make sure I drag that over there. And I'm going to grab right now my intro level that we got from our side scroller template. Go to that map, and I'm going to left click on it to select it. I'm going to hit F2, then I'm going to do Control C to copy it, then I'm going to click off of it. Then I'm going to come back in here into my main menu HUD and click on it so it's blue, Control V. And now when we hit our play button, it's going to load our side scroller example map. And that's going to be good enough for now. While we're looking at this, what we want to do now is we know that we did that in our interface folder. And this is why I like to minimize folders I'm not currently using. That way it saves a lot of clutter. We're not working on a character, so we can minimize that folder. We're not working on our mannequins. Let's minimize that one. So let's grab our main menu HUD, but that's what we're going to want to load. So let's go actually to our blueprint button up here and open level blueprints or blueprint, and then we can get rid of the event tick, and off of the event begin play node, we'll drag off from there, and we want to set input to UI only. We want to link off of here and get player controller. Just kind of make this neat as we go along. Widget to focus. We need to select that. Where is it? Well, we haven't done that yet. So let's actually just drag this off to the side. And we want to create a widget. So that would be our next step right here. And we can link from our player controller to our owning player. And then now we can do main menu, and we want to go ahead and also from our return value here we want to add to viewport, so we can make it come up on the screen and connect that to here and connect that to here. So we go from our create widget to our add to viewport and set input mode to UI only, and then from here we want to drag off from the return value to the in widget to focus. So now it's going to do all that, and since we're using a UI, we're going to drag off from here and we're going to set show mouse cursor to true. We're just going to scroll over here and we're going to connect that to that. Now that's going to be good. It's going to give us our mouse control, show our widget, everything's lovely, compile and save, and let's close that for now. So, if we hit play while we're on this, there's our main menu. So now if I hit play, it will actually go into our map, and We can start playing, but I had that and I have no control. So this is where, and this is why I always say to, in the map itself, you come over here and you click on your blueprints, open level blueprint, and event begin play. From your event begin play, the first thing we want to do is we want to go ahead and set input to game only, not input but game, and we need to go ahead and get player controller. You got it. It's nice and simple. And since we're in game mode only, we need to set show mouse cursor, leave that unchecked, connect that to here, jump it up to there, compile, save, close. So now anytime we go into this map, we don't have the mouse cursor, we can immediately start playing. And we're not going to keep this map, we're just using it just to test a few things really quickly. So I'm not even worried about doing a build on the reflection captures or whatever it's telling me to do up there. I'm going to go back to my maps folder, go to my main menu map, and now I can hit play. It's going to bring up my main menu, and now I can hit exit game and it works, or I can hit play game and now it works. I have control, I can run around the map, I can do my thing, and there we go. Everything all works lovely. So that's the basics of setting up our main menu and getting us into the game. Now, yes, the main menu is absolutely blank and hideous. You know that's not going to work for me. I'm going to have to add music in. And you know that at some point, whenever I decide which music I'm going to put in, it's going to be from Technoax. Love dude's music, man. He's a great artist. Great stuff. And it's royalty free. I mean, come on. Seriously. But we'll get into that later. We know that our play game works, and it takes us to our first one. When we get in here, we actually now have our character from Synty Studios, which love the asset packs, love their stuff. So let's actually look at, there's a couple ways that we can do our map. And the first style of map that I'm going to create is going to be what I call a static map. And a static map, for especially for a side scroller, is one long, huge, freaking continuous map. Whereas, you know, hey, welcome to my Discord too. With that one huge, gigantic, long map, let's go ahead and create a new level. Use default, and I'm going to scroll out here. Now, I'm not going to keep this piece, but you can see that size here. If you imagine you're standing here, it's going to be this big, huge, long, skinny map that you run back and forth on. And if we set our game mode override to side scroller and then hit play, all you're doing is you're running and jumping and doing your thing on the map. All you're really concerned about, because you can't go forward and backwards. If you hit up, you're going to jump instead. So you're not worrying about falling off your terrain this way. So you can just create your terrain, place things in, buildings, backgrounds, backdrops, things of that nature, and you don't really have to worry about it too much. But I'm going to keep it even more simple. I'm not going to do that because that just absolutely kills the texture. So I'm going to grab this floor and I'm going to delete it. There's a couple ways that I can actually do this. I can actually create a terrain. The first thing I want to do, though, is I'm going to go into Polygon City. And there's some stuff they put in the Polygon City pack that I freaking love. Go to Environments, and this is going to set the constraint for the size of our map. Now, the other type of map is going to be an active map where it actively is creating new tiles in front of you, but we're going to do a static map for the first one. So I'm going to grab Skyline 01, drag it in here, go to my details panel, and I'm going to zero it out. 0, 0, and 0. And I'm going to grab Skyline 02, drop it in here, and zero it out. And you guessed it, 3, 0 that out, and 4. And again, 0 it out. What that's done is it's given us a nice skyline to look off in the distance here. Looks really cool. So the next thing we want to do is start getting clean. Well, first off, let's go ahead and save all. And We want to save selected into our maps folder, and we're going to call this level_01. So this is going to be our first level we're going to go into, and now I want to come over here, right click, create a new folder. We're going to call this map shiznit. Map shit. And I'm going to grab everything that's here except for the player start, and I'm going to drop it in there. Nice and clean. And I'm going to create another new folder, player starts. Lovely. And I'm going to drag that, drop it in there, and it just cleans up the world outliner a lot. When we're trying to work on something, it's easier to spot. Now, if we try to hit play now, hey, we got no floor. We're just going to fall to our death. So let's grab our, open up, go to our player start, hit F so we can focus on it. And we see which way our arrow is facing. We need to, first off, have a floor. So I'm actually going to, short term, show you one way that I'm going to do this. And I'm going to grab a basic geometry box, and I'm going to zero it out. And then I'm going to change the dimensions of the geometry box. And I'm actually going to change this on the Z height to 20. Now let's actually make it 10. So now if we were to hit play, we're standing on something. We can move left and right. So we know which way we need to go. And again, here's where we need to go into our blueprints, open level blueprints, and off of our event begin play, we need to do our thing here of set input to game mode only. And we need to go ahead and get a reference to our player controller. Get player controller, yay. And then we need to go ahead and set show mouse cursor and leave it as false. And by putting this in the head of all of our maps, we're going to make sure that we are set up automatically every time. I'm going to add more to that file here later, but now I can go in here and play. And I know that my arrow is facing towards me, so now I have a basic orientation of how I'm going to be able to do this. So if I click on my box brush, and the temptation is to grab from right here and stretch this way. When you do it that way, you're destroying the aspect ratio of the material when you apply it later. We're not really worried about that because we can actually do this so many different ways. But what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go ahead and use their floor tiles. Okay, and I'm going to grab road 1. Is that the one that I want? It is a white line. No. Yeah, let's actually do. Nah. Let's do this one, and I'm going to zero it out, but I'm going to move it. And what I want to do here is I'm going to leave it kind of where it is, but I'm actually going to go ahead and move it to this side of that. So it's going to actually be, the nice thing is these tiles are set up as 500 by 500. So now whenever I come in here, even though I'm not going to see this probably, we need to check this out here, and we need to go ahead and copy this one, Control C, Control V, and move this over 500. And now if we hit play, we're walking right on the edge of it, and we will actually see that. So that I wanted to see for sure. Let's go ahead and now grab this one and this one. Actually, let's grab this, delete it, left click, and then Control left click, Control C, Control V, do our rotation, rotate it 180 degrees, shift it over here to where it's at the edge there, and we'll scroll it over to here. Now if we wanted to, we could actually just move our character over some so we didn't actually see that, but I like seeing the road. We're actually going to run down the road for our player, The other way to do it is we can have them actually running down the sidewalk. So if we want to have them running down the sidewalk, let me actually go ahead and grab these two. I'm going to delete that. Actually, I'm going to delete all of them. And let's actually put in a sidewalk and have our character running down the sidewalk. So I'm going to grab that and I'm going to zero it out. And then I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees. And what I want to do here is I want to make sure I'm still zeroed out. I can go back into this, Control C, Control V, paste another sidewalk section down, and line it up. You see I can just match it off on my 500s. That's great. And now we want to take our player character and actually move him to the sidewalk. So now if we hit play, we don't actually see the roadway. We can adjust our player character's location so that we can just see the curb of the sidewalk. You see it's not showing up, but here's one thing we have to take into consideration. We go in here to play in standalone game. It's going to give us an actual, let's go ahead and save selected so we know what we saved our map. What we're going to do is we're kind of building our environment to begin with. For now, yeah, okay, see, we can see the sidewalk curbing now. And it's just enough to where we can see the sidewalk, but we can't see where it drops off. We don't actually have any road sections in here, and we don't need them. So we can actually use our sidewalk. Because we're running down the sidewalk, we can now jump over obstacles in the sidewalk and things of that nature. So that's going to be perfect. And let's go ahead and we're going to have to Alt-Tab because I haven't created an escape menu yet. So we're going to do that. And now we can actually test it back in our selected viewport. And we can actually play around with it from here. And when we're done doing our quick test, we can hit escape that way. So that's going to be perfect. And if we wanted to go ahead and set up our road, we can grab this one and this one, Control C, Control V, and now we just duplicate it and slap them together. So now do the same thing, Control V, and drag another one this way. Now we're not going to do sidewalk all of the way, so we can actually then start building our sidewalk environment. And what you want to do is fill up as much space as you want your level to be lengthwise for a static map like this. Now this is going to, for now, be a problem with our background. But what I'll do is later down the line, we can actually, if we wanted to, connect all four of those there and actually make them move along with the character. As we're moving this way, they slide on the same XY axis or Z axis or whatever the axis is. So as we're going this way, I like seeing it move. So for now, we're just going to leave it the way it is. But if we wanted to, we could actually bind that to the character's axis. So if we want to change the y-axis of these, we could based on the player character. And that would actually be pretty cool, but we're not going to mess with it for now. We're going to keep it simple to get it rolling. But things we can do now is to build our walk-on environment is I can go ahead and grab a sidewalk corner. And we want to make sure that we zero out our height. And zero it out that way. Scroll around. We'll do 180 and slide it over here. And this is where map building, you can spend a lot of time building your map. But I'm just going to want to showcase a little bit of how we're going to set up like a variable terrain on the walking area. So now we've got a sidewalk that curves here and the road's going to go back. We're not going to build a whole lot of terrain this way. We'll build a visual wall that'll block it off, but we wanted to have something there also. So if we come over here, we want road bare, and where the hell are you? You're in here somewhere. I know you're here. It's nice that it gives us data when you mouse over it, but sometimes I really don't want it there. Road patch. Road bare. I'm going to grab that in here, drag that down to 0. This to 0. Sorry, my coffee cup is getting in the way here. And we're just going to drag this around and put it in position so that we actually have the road Then I'm going to grab this and this, Control C, Control V, drag it over here, and I'm going to just rotate it. I'm going to have to rotate this one around too, but didn't get me closer. I mean, you can do it however you want to, but it is great that these are set on a 500 by 500 basis. So it's easy to make a symmetrical map system. Now just rotate it 90 degrees and drag it back up. It can be really boring watching somebody do maps. I'm not going to spend a lot of time playing with this map. I just want to show you that now that we have this, we can actually run over here, and as we're running down the sidewalk, we now have this. Now the one thing that bugs me is you're floating here. So what you can do for these guys, these sidewalk pieces where you know that you're going to be stepping down, the one we're using right now is sidewalk corner. You open up the static mesh for it, and if you want to, you can scroll down to do this. Collision complexity, change it from project default to use complex collision as simple, and then hit save. Now what's going to happen is by doing that, I don't like doing this in a whole lot of models, but now what we've done is we've actually added some more complexity to it. We can move, and we drop down when we hit that little notch. Really cool, right? So you've got all these different tiles to work with, so you can build your sidewalk however you want. But I'm going to quickly go ahead and just place in some other obstacle stuff. You got like gutters and things of that nature. This one's under construction, so we want to make it simple. Zero it out. Drag it over here. Now this is instead of it being a single, which is 500, this is actually a double, so it's 1,000. So you have to take that into account as you're placing your items. It's twice the length of a normal tile. You'll know that by mousing over it. You'll see, I don't know if you can see it here, but its approximate size is 1,000 by 506. But this is another one where you want to double click on it, and you'll want to go ahead and change your collision so that hopefully as you're walking across it, I don't know if it's going to be far enough back. Nah, so it's not really going to matter on this one. We're not going to be able to drop into it, but it gives us something else visually to look at. You can always change your camera angles as well, but I think this is going to work a lot better. So as we're walking down our sidewalk, we have some things that we can see that are different shaping on our sidewalk. Now, when you're setting up your other stuff to be behind the scenes, we're behind the character, something more visual, we're going to start with our 000, and we're going to go to our buildings and look around our buildings. We don't have to build skyscrapers because we're not going to see but only a small amount, so that works out pretty good as well. So we can actually grab, oh, I don't know, we're going to go over here to this street corner, and I'm going to go ahead and, for the sake of it, I'm going to grab 3. Actually, I'm going to grab 4 of these here. You can Control C, Control V, and I'm going to rotate while I got them all selected, 90 degrees. Now these are just going to be cosmetic. We'll never even walk on them. So we want to line them up so that they match. This is why I haven't built the lighting yet, because there's still some offsets in the visibility of things. That makes it easier for me to line them up. So we can do that, and Control C, Control V, and then we're going to manually rotate them 180 degrees. And then push this over. I'm going to make this part quick. I don't want to spend a lot of time on that part. And then here, Control C, Control V would be nice. We can extend bare roads down, but I'm not gonna. We want it to look a little bit nicer. So we grab our road, yellow lines. Let's grab that in here, zero it out on our height. We want to rotate it. So we put the yellow line on the side of the street and line it up here. And line it up here. And then I'm just going to copy and paste and rotate and create another copy of it. Control C, Control V, rotate 180 degrees, lock it down, and right there. So now it's just a matter of left clicking on that one and Control C, Control V, lock it down. Control C, I didn't mean to uncheck you. Make sure they're not overlapping, because you will get some errors with these guys. Grab both of them, Control C, Control V, and that's done. So what I want to do now is just throw in a building just to kind of show how I'm going to populate behind the scenes. I'll grab the corner, and I want to zero out the height on that as well. And I'm going to go ahead and rotate it, because I know I want to rotate it 90 degrees. Drag this in here. So many buildings to choose from. So many cool things here. So we just want to line that up with that corner. Now we can go ahead and throw in, let's see, the center section here to have it go down, or we can make it go up. In this case, I'm going to make it go up. Entirely up to you. And again, we're just trying to populate some of the scenery here. Actually, no, I want it to go down. That'll look better. So we're going to grab that in here, make sure it's zero height, and then we just want to drag it into our scene and line it up. You got to love the Synty Studios stuff because of the factor of everything being 500 by 500. It makes life so nice. Line it up on 500, and there we go. And now what we can do is grab this one, Control C, Control V, and rotate it this way, 90 degrees. And I'm going to go ahead and throw it back over here. And again, you can line up. You don't have to look at the map. You can actually look at your location or your transform and see that, okay, it's at 1500. And that's where I need it to be. So it's kind of hard to line it up that way when you're doing that axis. So just scroll around as you need to. And then slide it over here. And again, I'm looking at the actual numbers on my transform over here to get it lined up. I mean, if you wanted to, you could just manually punch in the numbers. But now when we go in here to play, we actually have something to see. And to fill out this the rest of the way, what I'll do is, since we know these, we'll grab this one, and this one, Control C, Control V, and we're going to rotate it manually 180 degrees. And we're going to go ahead and grab and move it around. Now, to get it lined up this way, it's going to put us over the map. And we want to line it up here because we want this little dip down to go there, just so we have some symmetry on the basis of it. And if you're not sure if you're lined up correctly, you can click right there and you can see I'm off by a little bit. It's perfect that way, but it's off this way. And you can just click on it manually and look at it. And okay, we want to do this at -500. And it's at, that's good there. And let's actually zero that one out. So now that's good. And if we want to fill up these two end pieces, grab this one and this one, Control C, Control V, and then manually rotate it 90 degrees. And move it manually. And there you go. All we're doing with this is we're setting up some visual stuff in the background to look at. We're going to have to fill out this section right here too, but we can do that with one simple piece right here. We'll scroll around until we find, we'll say this one. We'll try dropping that one in, see what it looks like. 90 degrees, move it left and right. So that's going to get zeroed out, and we're going to move it this way, 1000. Now if we go in here and look, we're going to still see we're over this, or we're going to fill in over the top with just something to populate the top of it, and then we're going to move on. I'm not going to worry about building so much of the background of the map right now. We want to look at some other ideas for obstacles we have to jump over on the map, and then we need to go ahead and do a lighting build, and then we'll go ahead and start working on some other features. If you guys got any suggestions on features we can put in this, let me know. We want to grab a corner. Mouse over it, you can see I'm doing this kind of quickly. Apartment corner, apartment stack, apartment stack. You don't actually have to use the same one. You can actually use some of the other ones and mix and match a little bit. But what I'm going to do on this one is I'm going to grab a corner piece. Doesn't look like a corner. We can rotate it, take a look at it, see if it's what we want, and drag it in place. Again, you can use your manual tools to move it around. And that's pretty good. So now we can actually take that, Control C, Control V, and we're going to move it over here, rotate it 90 degrees, and just reset its position. We'll put one in the middle, and we'll leave it like that for now. So all you're doing is you're just trying to fill up your background, so you have some, visual appeal to the map. Since we don't want to have doors right here, we need to just grab a window section. We want to try to match out. So let's actually grab this one right here. Can I work with that one? That's good enough for now. See, that's the downside of doing map work is when you're doing your final finishing, you'll change things 1,000 times till you get it to where you like it. Right now, we're just wanting to show the basics of that. You can see it doesn't line up, doesn't look perfect, but it's just background stuff you're going to see as you're passing by. You could just as easy grab stuff like this. They're larger, grab it in here. Now, the one thing that I will say about this particular one is, being that it's octagonal, it's nice that it overlaps a little bit here and there, but what you're going to end up having to do is, when you put it down, you can see you've got an overlap there. You're going to see that on the map. So it's not going to look all that great. I'll move this to 2500. 1500. So what you're going to end up having to do is go through your environmentals and grab sidewalk pieces, and there's actually a regular blank sidewalk, and you can line that up and do it that way. Control C, Control V, and you just want to do that so you cover up any overlap sections. So grab that one and that one, Control C, Control V, and we want to make sure that it's overlapped correctly, even though you're not going to see most of that. Control C, Control V, and there we go. And I can't see the sidewalk here, so I'm just going to grab two pieces here, Control C, Control V. I'm going to drag it over, line it up, then grab these two again and make sure they line up perfectly. Damn, I was pretty close. So that's going to be good enough. So now let's actually start looking at some obstacles to get in our way as we're playing. So what we're going to have to do is come up with more background scenery as we go, but we want to have things that we need to jump over. So I'm going to go ahead and save all. Make sure we save everything in case there's something that happens and this craps out. We're going to do a lighting build. This is going to take a few moments, so bear with me on it. So while we're doing that, we can be thinking about what we want to do, what we want to add. If you're familiar with the Synty Studios asset packs, lots of cool stuff. Move that out of the way. Look at our props while we're waiting for our build. And holy crap, Speckle, we got a lot to work with. We got cars. We got, if you look at our vehicles rigged, we're not going to use them and drive them right now. Who knows? We could actually add that as a function later, as being able to drive a car or ride on the roof of a car, or use them as stuff to jump over as well. So you got cars to work with. You got props that we can work with. Alright, lighting build is complete. Alright, so let's look at the props. We got a hot dog stand. The one thing I did notice about the hot dog stand, let's see if they fixed it in this latest patch. There was an upgrade on it. No. That was just absolutely freaking huge. How the hell is somebody going to stand here and work with that? They can't even reach in the damn thing to get the hot dogs out. The scale is too big. So if you're going to use the hot dog cart, you're going to have to scale it down. So you want to go ahead and shrink it down 0.75, 0.75, 0.75, and let's see how it looks that way. A little more user-friendly that way. Not to block you, and you can jump over it. So you got plenty of obstacles. I'm not going to leave it in there, but there's a bus stop, there's ATM. This is going to be one that we're going to use probably quite a bit. Since we have damage right here onto the sidewalk, let's go ahead and move this over here. Now, if you just put it at 90 degrees, it's just not going to look worth a crap. So if we put it in there and it's 90 degrees, we can see it as we come up to it and jump over it. That may be okay, but if you keep putting things in at purely 90 degrees, it's just not going to have much flair. So you just rotate it maybe 10 degrees either way. So it looks more natural, like it was actually placed into the mission or placed out there because they're actually working on it. But that's not the only way you want to put things in. You can put things in like a fire hydrant. Okay, now I got to jump a fire hydrant. But as you're looking at a side-scroller game, you're pretty much set to where you have this jump height to deal with. That jump height's pretty high. That's higher than most people can jump, but that's okay. It's a jumping game. There's also ways you can contain a player by having the maximum height that you can actually jump. And what can you do to make it where you can only jump so high? Or if you want to jump on top of an obstacle, like I say, like right here, we know that I'm just going to jumble some things in just to kind of showcase what you can do to have more obstacles to jump on. Well, some butthole decided he was going to park his van on the sidewalk. Well, that's no bueno. Who parks a van right here on the sidewalk? Kind of sucks, man. So as you're running along, okay, jump across here. Like crap, there's a van in the way. You jump up on the van, walk across the van, and it's just another cool obstacle you put in there. So I'm going to get out of the actual map making right now, because I'm sure that it's like watching paint dry. Making a map is one of the most relaxing things you can do, but it's boring as crap to watch, and it's not very educational. There's only so much you can learn by watching somebody make a frickin' map. So I'm actually going to go ahead and take these things back out of the map, because I don't want to do a lighting build right now. We're going to do save all, save selected, and then I'm going to go ahead and start looking over ideas for, well, first off, we need to go ahead and make sure we have an escape menu. We have our main menu, but we've got to have that escape menu. Interface folder, right click, make user interface, widget blueprint, and we want to make escape underscore menu. I'm going to go into this, and very much like we did with the main menu, we're just going to create a simple menu system. We're going to grab a vertical box, and we're going to go ahead and stretch it out a little bit. We're going to anchor it to the center. We're going to grab, we're not worried about a location. We'll fix this location here shortly. You want to be conscious about your locations. If you do 0, 0, well, the size of it is, we're going to make it 400 by 400. Let's anchor our position to -200. by -200. That's dead center in the middle of your screen, but we actually want it to go a little bit higher. So let's actually bring it up to, we want to keep this at -200, but we want this to be -300 so that it moves it above center and above your character a little bit. We're only going to have 2 buttons. We're not going to have all this height. So let's go ahead and grab a button, drag it into our vertical box, and let's go ahead and drag some text, put it on there, and let's go ahead and grab our primitive, which is our spacer. Let's drag that in there, and let's go ahead and add our button, copy. Actually, I'm going to do this. I put my spacer in here. It's supposed to be in here. I want to do button and spacer. I want to copy that. You can Control C and Control V. And now I've added in a second copy of it. And I'm going to grab this one and I'm going to copy and paste. So now I've got 3 buttons, and what I meant to do with this one is set this to 40 and set this one to 40 for my spacers. So they're the same size as my buttons. Everybody likes nice buttons. Buttons. Anyway, so now we've got button equal size space, button equal size space, button. And let's go ahead and give our button some names. The first one we're going to make is our main menu button. Want to give it some text, and we want it to say main menu. And then next one we want to resume. And then the final one we want to do as our quit game button. So let's go ahead and give this text here of resume game. And this one is exit button. Change our text. Now we have shut up and do it. Exit game. So now we have buttons. Let's go ahead and compile and save. Go to our graph. Delete all this junkola. We don't need it. We need our main menu button, and then on clicked. Resume button on clicked, and exit button on clicked. We're keeping them in order in how they display so that we can come back to them pretty quickly. So we know that our exit button, when we do that, we're just going to quit game. No problem. So that's all we need for that one. And then from our resume button, we need to remove from parent. And after remove from parent, we need to go ahead and do get player. Remove from player. That's fine. We need to set input. We need to learn how to spell input to game only. And then we need to get our player controller. Get player controller. And we want to set show mouse cursor to false. So we're going to turn our mouse cursor back off that we haven't turned on just yet. We're going to get there. So when we hit the resume button, it makes this menu go away and we can go back into playing again. So now when we do this, we need to go ahead and make sure that we know exactly how our main menu is spelled. So let's go to our maps, main menu map, and let's copy that. And we want to do open level and put our main menu map there. So now when we hit escape, we get our menu to pop up, and if we select the main menu button, we go back to the main menu. If we hit resume game button, then it just removes the menu and we go back to playing. If we hit the quit game button, then bang, it quits the game. Now, one of the things we need to do also is we need to go back into our interface folder and our main menu HUD, open that up, go to the graph, and we want to do level underscore 01. So now from our main menu, we select play. We're now going to go to our new map instead of the old one. So to confirm that, let's actually go to our maps. Let's go to our main menu map. We hit play. All right, cool. We hit play game, and yikes, we're going to have to rebuild our lighting again. So now we actually see our map, and we can go in there and play. Everything is lovely, except for the lighting. Now, we didn't test our escape menu because reasons. We need to go into standalone game mode and play it that way. I'm going to have to rebuild that lighting again. It's like watching paint dry again. So you hit play game. And there we go. We're in here. We can run around playing our map. It's completely unfinished. And then like, oh man, I'm tired of this. When I hit escape, well, it's not doing anything. Why isn't it doing anything? Because we didn't tell it to display that. The only way we're going to get that to display is we go into our character folder, BP player, and now we need to get some functionality for our escape menu. So we're going to ignore this stuff that's right over here, and we're going to right click and type in escape. And now, when we press the escape button unpressed, we want it to create a widget. And the widget we want to create is our escape menu. Our owning player, we want to get player controller. And at that point, we want it to go ahead and do a couple things. We first off want it to add to viewport. There you go. Get up there. Get in there, you piece of crap. Then we want to, from here, we want to, what do we want to do? We want to edit a viewport. We want to, well, let's drag off from here. Set input to UI only. So we're going to freeze the game controls that we're using. We're not able to control our character anymore. We're only going to control our mouse, and it's going to focus in on this widget. And then we're going to tell it to display the mouse, which is set show mouse cursor. You guys got questions anytime, just say so. Click there. So what happens is when we press escape, it's going to create the widget, add it to our viewport, and set our input to UI only and enable our mouse cursor. Alright, so compile and save, and now if we look at it and hit play in our standalone, it should bring up our menu and everything should work just fine. I'm actually not going to work on the map anymore for right now because it is kind of boring. And I know I'm kind of boring sometimes, but screw you. Anyway, so now, okay, we're playing. Well, I'll work on the map on my own time, or I can work on another video. Doesn't matter. So now if I hit escape, we get our menu and we get our mouse cursor. And I can hit resume game, and now I can go back to playing just like normal. No problem. I appreciate it, man. It means a lot to me. Hit escape again. Now I can choose to go back to the main menu. Well, see, I tried it whenever I'm explaining things. I don't want to sound like, oh, well, you don't know anything because you're stupid. No, nobody's... No, there are people that are stupid. But you're not stupid if you don't know what you're doing. It just means you don't know what you're doing. And if people treat you like, well, I can do this and you can't, the only thing that's stopping you from learning how to do things like that is you. I mean, and if I treat you like you don't matter, then you don't matter. You'll believe it yourself. But I like to treat people as though they can honestly learn as they go. And there's no reason why anybody that just takes their time and just feels like they can do it. You just got to get over that apprehension. You can do it. I have faith in a lot of people around here. So, yeah, and that's why I try to teach the way that I teach, is I want people to learn and not feel like they're stupid. Because if you don't know something, it's because you don't know it. And that's how you learn, is people actually taking the time to show you how to do it. So that all works. Everything works lovely. Nothing is broken at this point. The hell's wrong with me? Something should be broken right now. So we hit play. Now, if you guys have seen and played my other videos, you know I like music, and this is just, well, it's quiet. There's nothing. There's no sound. I gotta have sound. I gotta do it. I gotta have music, and I gotta have something in the background. Even though it's not gonna be a final product, I just gotta have something. Play game. There's nothing. It's bone quiet, silent. There's no noise. I gotta have sound, but everything works. It's definitely quiet. So the first thing I'm going to do is, I know you guys can't see because I'm working off on a different monitor here. I have a ½ terabyte hard drive that is nothing but Unreal Engine 4 stuff. Assets and sound files and animations and maps and things that I've created and other people have created, and just stuff that I've just piled up. And it's about halfway full. So the first thing I want to do is I want to add some music in. And the first thing, I'm going to go into my assets and I'm going to create folders. Always create folders, man. Stay organized. It helps you stay clean and organized. We want this one to be audio. We want another one to be images. Now, I've done stuff like actually put YouTube videos inside of my game maps, stuff like that. There's so many things you can do. So since what I'm going to be doing is utilizing music from Technoax. Yeah, had a brain fart there. I want to make sure that I put his logo on my main menu. So first thing I need to do is I need to get the images in here first. I have so many image folders. So many saved screenshots and junk. There's mocap stuff. John Gall's, Synty Studios. Oh god, there's demos that I've created. There's so much junk in this hard drive that I really probably should spend some time cleaning it out. I keep saying that I'm gonna, and I just never do it. All I'm gonna do is once I actually find the actual image, that's if I actually find it. I mean, I could always copy it in from another game here, but I have this logo somewhere. You would think that I'd have it in a normal location. I tried to be organized at one time and it just didn't work. So here we go. So out of this image folder, all I'm going to do is, and I'm going to keep it off screen, but I'm just going to take that image and I'm going to left click and I'm going to drag it and drop it in here, and it's going to automatically add the image in. It's going to automatically import just by doing a drag and drop. Cut 11 Unreal Engine 4. So with that, now I can actually do a save all, and let's actually go into our interface folder. I don't need my character folder open. Go away. Interface, and I want to go to my main menu. Now I want to go back here, and again, this is quick and easy stuff. Go into my image folder. I'm going to left click on my Technoax logo, and then I'm going to select the image that I want. I'm going to drag the image in here, just our base image, and I'm going to resize it a little bit, and then I'm going to click on my brush, open that, click on this arrow, and it's done. I can just resize it wherever I want to, but I want to make sure I have the Technoax logo in there because, you know, he deserves it, but also because you know, being that it's royalty free, part of the agreement for using his music is you let people know where you got the music from, and that's the first way I'm going to do that. So then I want to pick a song that I want to use. I'm not going to be super picky on my music right now. I can always change that on my own and on my time instead of everybody's time. So I want to find somewhere along the lines my music folder. Hey, music. And then let's see. Now, if you've never added music into Unreal Engine 4, sadly the best way to do it is to do it in wave format. So I'm going to make a music folder, and I'm going to grab one that I know that is and pardon me, I'm going to play a snippet of it here. Yeah, we're just going to use that one for now. Let's see. 43 megabytes. Good Lord. That's great. I'm going to use that one just for the heck of it. All I'm going to do is the same thing. I'm going to drag it in and drop it in, and it's going to automatically import. So now it's called Loose Floor. So what I want to do is do a quick save all. Now I'm in my main menu map. So what I want to do here is I want to go to this selected viewport, and now one thing I did forget to do here is I need to anchor that. You guys let me do it. You're watching me. You didn't say, hey, dumbass, anchor it. Anchor it to the bottom right-hand corner. Control and save, or compile and save. Now when we go in here, it's always going to put my logo there. So now I want to go into my blueprints and open level blueprints. Now we did all this stuff here earlier for the main menu stuff. So we want to keep that. So let's actually grab our begin play, and I'm going to drag this over here a little bit and use one of my favorite nodes called sequence. Not sequence. I'm not bedazzling anything here. Settle down. So sequence node. Basically this is a funnel. It lets me grab and link off other stuff here, and it creates a whole new path to work with. Sorry, no bedazzling. And what we want to do is play sound at location. Now there's a couple ways that I can do this. I can actually just go ahead and select that and be done with it. Grab that and like, okay, that's lovely, but I'm not gonna. I'm going to leave that blank for right now, and I'm going to do something a little bit different. You guys have never done it before. Sound cues. Now we know we have this. This is a WAV file. I can hit play right here, and it takes a couple seconds, and then it'll come up and start playing. Well, setting up a sound cue is really easy. I'm left click on it, selected, right click on it, and then create cue. It's that simple. Loose floor cue. Now I go into it, and I have my WAV file. It's here, and I have my output node. It's here. If you guys have never messed with these things, you really got to learn these. These are really cool to work with. You can do random. You can do all kind of different stuff, and I'm going to use that later on to create random sound cues as you're walking through the streets. But start off with, we want to have our background music. We don't want this thing to play once and stop, so I'm going to select the WAV file, and I'm going to click on looping, and it's going to automatically continuously play forever until we go off from there. So this is going to be awesome. So now if I click on output and override attenuation, if I want to be able to do it that way, but I just want to come to my volume multiplier, and I can set the volume to 0.4. It'll be 40% volume level. And let's save that. And now when we go in here to our main menu map, now we can select loose floor cue, or the name of our cue file that we just created. And if we hit compile and save, and now hit play. Oh, thank you very much for the sub there. I was Marin Cato. So doing that now, that I don't know if you guys can hear it. I've got it set at 40% volume, and I got my master volume turned down. I don't know how well you guys can hear it, but can you guys hear the music? Okay. So it's playing. It's doing its thing. So now if we hit play game, music's gone. That's awesome, right? Now, as much as I would hate to do it, one of the easiest things for me to do is actually. And I don't want to do it. 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 I don't want to add starter content. It's 700 megabytes to add starter content. It's way too much. We want to keep our file size down. In fact, one of the things we can do with our file size is we can go over here to our Polygon City folder, go to our Maps folder, and actually go to Polygon City first off, and left click on Maps, hit the delete key, and hit delete. That's going to cut out some of the file size of this, whatever you want to package it and share it with your friends, and whenever I go to share it with you guys, it's actually working. It takes a few moments for it to actually delete it, but delete your map files that you're not using. They're not necessary, and they're going to overcomplicate the file size. The only maps you should have are the maps you created. In fact, even the side scroller map, you look at side scroller, you don't need that. So you can actually come in here and delete that one too. In fact, you're probably not even going to need the meshes, character, blueprints. You're probably not going to need anything anymore from that because we already have everything saved from our animations and stuff. That's easy enough, but we'll worry about that later. We'll clean that out later. In fact, we're probably not even going to need our mannequin folder either, so that's even more stuff you can get rid of. But what I was saying here was I need some other sounds. Now, I already have some sounds that I can work with. Let's go in here in our audio folder, and I'm going to create another folder. We're going to call this effects. And let's see if I can actually find these guys. And now these sounds are actually basic sounds, like the sound of traffic, or let's see here, explosions and things like that. I want extra sound files to really make things kind of perk up a little bit. But I'm going to, again, be at a loss here to try to find everything. If I go back to my original folder, this is where I should keep everything. Audio folder, battlefield sounds. I don't think that's going to work for a city. Well, it could, but not for this city. Street sounds. It's probably really loud. So we don't need it here, but we're going to need it in our actual map. So let's actually drag that in here, and there we go. So what I want to do here is I want to go back into my level 1. Go ahead and save selected. We don't need our queue open. We're going to make another sound queue here. And again, streets. It may be really, really, really loud, and there's so many different ways we can do this, but I'm just going to right click on it and create queue, and then hit enter, and streets queue. So now if we look at it, we have our main wave file, and we want to go ahead and click on it and set that to looping so that we can continuously play this sound file. And volume multiplier, I'm going to put that down to about a 0.5. Just kind of soften it up a little bit. I'm not worried about attenuation right now. We're going to use attenuation on other sounds, but for now we're not worried about it. We're okay with our menu for now, but let's go ahead and we're actually going to go ahead and add this one in here real quickly. We're going to go to our open level blueprint. Now we've got all this stuff here for our setting our game mode. So again, all we need to do is add in a sequence node. Because, well, you don't have to because of the fact that we're using a sound cue. But I just do it out of habit. So we want to play sound at location. We're not worried about location. This is going to be everywhere. And the sound we're going to play is our streets queue, and that's lovely. Because we've already fixed everything in the queue, it all should work just fine. So now if we play this, and it's a little loud now. We need to adjust it inside the queue, but you'll have street sounds and everything. It's really loud. So now all I got to do is go into my queue on the output. I can change it to 0.3, lower the volume there. Hit save and play. Yeah, that's a lot better. So we hear the sound of birds in the background, occasional cars, things like that. We got some sound going on in the background. So I'm going to go back to my main menu map, and I'm going to play in standalone editor or standalone game. So this is going to open it back up again and let us look at it like we're actually playing the game, even though it's in a window. I don't know if you guys can hear it. I've got it turned down, but we have sound. We have music in the background. We've got our Techno X logo here. His logo is available on his website to download. So, hit play game. The music goes away, and Now we can run around, we have sound in the map, and it's not a dead, dank location. Everything is lovely. Yay. So, that's that. I mean, we actually are starting to get somewhere with this, even though the map sucks. Don't get me wrong, I'll worry about the map later. If we hit escape, we have resume game, exit game, and main menu. And there we go. That all works. Everything is working. What's wrong with me? I haven't broken anything yet. I haven't had a bad case of the stupids yet. So, and actually, let's go back to our level 1. And I'm just going to show really quickly. I'm going to go into selected viewport. And I'm just going to quickly, while I'm looking at my character, I'm going to hit the print screen key. Hit escape. And then, since everything I use, except for the Synty Studio stuff, paid for those. But I try to use as much as I can free stuff whenever I'm showing people how to do things. GIMP is a free program to download. Still using 2.8, but whatever. I don't know if there's any newer versions or not. But GIMP is a free graphics program. And I've already hit print screen, so let's save that to my clipboard. So as soon as it finishes loading up here, if it's had any updates, it sometimes takes a little bit longer. But yeah, there we go. So once it comes up and you put it on the correct monitor, I can now hit Control V, and there we go. Now, of course, it's going to show all 3 monitors, but we're only worried about this one. And what I want to do is I want to grab a piece of this image. We'll grab that, Control C, Control Shift V, and that gives you a new version of it. And I'm going to discard changes, image, and I want to do scale image. I want to do 1920 by, I'm going to hit the chain right here to break it, and then 1080, yeah. Alright, so 1920 by 1080, and I can actually go back and zoom back out. This is not the final image. This is just something that's going to be temporary. And then I'm going to hit Control Shift E. That brings up the export image, and I'm going to put this on the F drive. Screw it. Let's just put it in all A's. I don't care. And then export. Just make it quick and easy. Once I save it and it exports out, I can go ahead and close this back out. I don't need to save anything else. Discard changes. And then it's going to go to that folder on my hard drive. And didn't even give it a name. Whatever. You guys let me do it. It's all your fault. And drag it in here and drop it. There we go. Let's do a save all. I'm not even worried about the name. So let's go to our interface folder, our main menu. Now, we did this right here. We changed the color to black. So let's see what happens when we grab our image, select it, then go back in here, go to this, and hit this arrow. We can see it's there, but wow, it's all black right there. So we'll come in here and we're going to change it back to 1 tab, 1 tab, 1 tab. So now it's back to normal. So now we actually have that same picture we just did a screenshot of. Just that quick, we've just added it in as a background for our main menu. And it actually looks like it's a little bit nicer. We don't have to have it right here in the center now because it's covering up our character. You put it over here and anchor it to the top left. And now that's how our main menu is going to look now. Compile and save. Close that out. Let's go back to our main menu. I'm going to go ahead and show you what it looks like for right now. We're going to go ahead and play in a standalone game. And then I'm going to take a quick break. And then I will come back and I'll do a little bit more, because I'm actually having fun doing this. So there we got our background image now. We got our sound, our music playing in the background. Here's a tip on music for a background of a main menu. You want it to be kind of cool, but you don't want it to be loud and blaring and blowing people's eardrums out and obnoxious. Keep it as passive as possible and get it to the point to get the theme going, but don't get really, really silly on how loud it is. The quieter, the better. You want people to hear it, but not experience it. You just want it to be part of the background. So I hit play game. Same thing with my sound for my background noise. Actually, I'm going to lower the volume on this. It's a little bit too loud. So then, yeah, we can play our game. We can hit escape. We can resume. We can exit. Or we can go back to our main menu. And there we go. And we can start adding in more options like setting screen resolution or things of that nature. Never done setting key bindings, so we might look into doing that also. Even though I'm okay with the keys the way they are, but how about remapping keys? Nobody ever thinks to do that in a game, but we all hate it whenever we can't remap our keys. So we'll look into that. Hey, thanks, Cat in the Hat. So we can hit exit game there. So we'll look into that. I mean, like when we did for our characters blueprints, when we set up our escape menu, see how this is escape? I'm actually going to copy this one so I don't screw it up and paste it in right here. So when we hit escape, but what if we don't want it to be the escape key? We can come over here by selecting it and then clicking right here, and we can change it to whatever we want. Android. So we may actually put this later on as an Android game. Xbox One controls. Gestures, so if you're using VR or whatever. Touch. Motion. Mouse, keyboard, gamepad. So if you're on a gamepad, you can select, well, if you're on a gamepad, then you want to hit this button here, and it does it. You can set up your key bindings to be whatever you want. But what I haven't done before is actually change the input keys. I don't know. See, you got a key structure. I've never worked with this before. It'd be something that'd be cool to learn. Executed when paused. Consume input means you can only use it once. It'd be interesting to play with. Control, Alternate, Shift, and Command. Now, you can set it to where this will only work if you hold down Control and then hit Escape. So you can actually lock keys and do separate bindings by doing that. Say if we want to do Control C, I know we're going to copy something, but just an example is Control, you come down to you find C and Control. Now if I hit Control and C key together, Control C is going to allow me to do whatever this function is. So if we did this and print text and just say hello, I press Control and C, compile, save. Let's actually go into our level 1 play and select a viewport. So hit C, nothing happens. Hit Control, nothing happens. Control C, hello, I press Control and C. So you can set up key bindings however you want by doing something like that. Just by, like, well, what if I want alternate or shift? Or what if I just want to hit the alternate key? You go to the keyboard and select any key, or you can select escape, caps lock, enter, pause, say enter. I pressed. If you're wanting to do chat, then that would be where you could set up a chat system where you hit enter and you chat with somebody else. We're not doing chat, but you get the point. Be something to look into later down the line, so we can try to figure out set array element, make set. I have no clue. That's something to look into, see if we can do a menu that does a key binding. So you guys think of features, let me know. Drop it in my Discord channel and let me know what kind of features you think we should add to the side scroller. Compile and save. And I'm going to do a save all, make sure everything is good to go. And again, we're going to look at this one more time, and then I'm going to bail for a quick break. You guys think of any features you think I should add in here, or features you would like to see in a side scroller, hell, let's make it happen, right? In standalone game, so we can play it just like it was compiled. And then after I do a little bit more with the game, I'll post it up on my Google Drive, and I'll put a link in my my Discord channel. So play game. Yay. I took out the Control C. Well, hit escape and go back to the main menu and exit game. Awesome. Alright, so I'm going to take a quick break. I got to take care of a couple things really quickly. And while I'm taking a quick break, you guys, like I said, head up my Discord channel or leave me some comments in here, preferably on my Discord channel. I see that all the time because Discord's always running on the right hand monitor. I mean, I've got it like right there. See? It's right there. See it? I always keep Discord up on the right monitor, and that way I can see what's going on in my public lobby and things like that. So if you drop me a message in Discord, the information's in the description on the video. Content you'd like to see added into this particular city, Polygon City based side scroller game, and we'll try to make it happen. Alright guys, we'll see you back here in probably about 30 minutes. Alright, take care.